Those viral images of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Lakshadweep, it appears, were not just for virality or to make a statement about Lakshadweep. They have actually opened the doors towards what is hoped to be a new future and a new journey for these islands that have been ignored for far too long. India today has now learned, for starters, that Minicoy, which is the southernmost Lakshadweep island, is all set to receive a new airport, making it ready not just for passenger aircraft and passengers and airlines, but also military aircraft, including fighters. But it's not just airports, it's also hotels, boat docks and tourism infrastructure to give Lakshadweep a new start as a global destination.
Amid the escalating diplomatic row between India and Maldives, a never-before power push for India's very own holiday paradise, the untouched and unspoilt Lakshadweep. Sources tell India today the government is progressing with the initiative to construct a new airport in Minicoy Island. The airport, which will have dual-purpose airfield capable of operating fighter jets and commercial aircraft. Along with boosting connectivity to mainland India, the new airport will also boost surveillance capabilities over the Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean regions. Meanwhile, the Maldivian President Mohamed Muizzu is on a visit to Beijing, where he called China a valued ally.
Right now, Muizzu is in China. This is a very important state visit for the Maldivian administration, where you can see the leanings. But sources have told India today that the Maldives had proposed dates for a December 2023 visit of President Muizzu to India.
The Maldivian opposition turning up the heat on the Muizzu government over the face-off with the country's most trusted ally, India. Muizzu rivals have called for steps to remove him from office.
Speaking to a few of the Maldivians over here, one realizes that they also understand the indispensability of India when it comes to various sectors, not just tourism, infrastructure, the medical sector. India has played a very important role when it comes to the development of the Maldives.
Politics has erupted in India. The Congress has accused Narendra Modi of failing to keep good relations with neighbours.
ಮೋದಿ ಅವರು ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಕೂಡ ಪರ್ಸನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವರು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವು ವಿಷಯಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ನೇಬರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು.
If someone talks something bad about the India, what people today under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, how they show their solidarity, this is an example.
The social media campaign to boycott Maldives has led to cancellations from India. However, converting Lakshadweep into an alternative tourist hotspot will need a huge boost to infrastructure in the islands. With Geeta Mohan from Maldives and Shibi Mol from Lakshadweep, Bureau Report, India Today.
Lakshadweep aakar zarur dekhein.
Viewer apologies, that was the wrong story that played. I'm going to play the correct one in just a moment for you. But in the meantime, I'm going to bring in India Today's Shibi Mol KG, who's in Lakshadweep, the first reporter post the Modi virality to reach the Lakshadweep Islands, and she's been shuttling it between all of those beautiful islands to get us the most spectacular coverage of what's going on there. It appears, Shibi, that while you've been in Lakshadweep reporting for us, bringing us all those amazing images, a multiple number of announcements have been made. A new airport, both civil and military, is to come up in Minicoy. More hotels we're hearing about have been, begun their own plans to start increasing the readiness of Lakshadweep for global travelers. What are you hearing?
Well, Shiv, I think that's the best news for the people who are planning to visit Lakshadweep, because the commutation is a major problem as far as the residents as well as the tourists are concerned, because, there's just one flight that's operating on 6 days a week from Kochi, and that's not really enough because it gets pre-booked much before. So that's a main difficulty that was raised by a lot of people who we spoke to. And regarding the cruise also, it's not that every day the cruises are operating. So there's a lot of development that's required, especially in terms of infrastructure. All the people who we're speaking to in the island, that's one thing that they have all been saying, that there's a lot of scope for Lakshadweep as a tourism destination, but there's a lot of development that's required. I think right now I'm actually standing in Kavarati and in a lighthouse actually, where you can see spectacular visuals. It's lush green actually. There's a lot of coconut trees. I don't know if it's visible in the visuals, but there are small houses. Kavarati is mostly a traditional a residential property and a residential region as well as a administrative region. All the boarding, deboarding, transportation facilities actually starts from here. And what you see on the other side is blue sea. Like, it's beautiful to watch from here. And you can see a lot of tourists also actually standing here enjoying this view. All of them have been telling me highly about Agatti and Bangaram Islands. Actually, those are the tourist destinations because that's not crowded. There's no many residents there. It's actually mainly for the tourism purposes. So those are the places that needs more development, where we hopefully will be traveling tomorrow to. Bangaram and Minicoy and Agatti Island, these are the islands that needs a lot of development. Those are specifically for tourism. There's no residents actually, tourism sector and a lot of hotels. That's the main purpose. So I actually have a tourist here with me. Sir, how has been your trip to Lakshadweep been so far?
So far I have seen this island. It enchants me very much. And especially the coming in this lighthouse. From the lighthouse we can see the total view of the Kavarati island, and specifically the small part that has gone in this way. It looks very nice. It's just like a fish, a fish tail. That's like a fish tail. It is spectacular view. It cannot be explained in one words. That is the thing.
Actually, that's absolutely, I can understand his emotions because the water is so clear, it's so blue, and it's full of green, and even the people here are like so welcoming and so friendly that everybody has been talking non-stop about the people here and the warm welcome that they have received from the time they've landed here. It's a place that needs to be explored. It's a place that needs a lot of development, a lot of infrastructure, and it's going to give a tough competition to all the tourist destinations in the world.
And Geeta Mohan, our foreign affairs editor, happens to be in Maldives, the island nation from where all this heat has actually begun. A few viral images of Prime Minister Modi, a reaction from some Maldivian ministers, and here we are. Geeta, 3 days later, after that entire fracas, has the diplomatic heat at least died down? We do know there's a lot going on social media, but has the diplomatic heat between India and Maldives at least died down?
Well, not really, Shiv. There is still a lot of diplomatic heat because everybody's waiting to see, one, what happens in China. And then when the Muizu administration, because President Muizu is traveling with almost his entire cabinet, when they return, what is it that the administration is going to do? Now, there are a few things over here, including the opposition parties and the people on the ground. They're demanding two things: that suspension is not enough, that there needs to be termination of these, because this is a presidential system of government and governance where these ministers were not democratically elected by the people. They were appointed by the president. So why just a temporary suspension for something as grave as what they did? And secondly, what they are also looking at is in terms of the ties between India and the Maldives, how to really look at mending those ties, the damage control that has been done. So on that front, there has been no apology, no strong condemnation coming from the highest officers. So that certainly is a concern. Having said that, the Muizu administration taking one step at a time, they did suspend the ministers. I've been trying, Shiv, to get in touch with those who've been suspended, those who passed those derogatory remarks, and they're all underground. They're not speaking to anybody. So they understand the ramifications of what they did. And most of the people over here also rather disappointed with what has transpired, because they do understand the importance and the gravity of the nature of things that have been said and how it could impact their daily lives. tourism, hospitality industry, medical services that India provides, not just in terms of
Geeta, has there been
going to
any
India,
visible
doctors,
impact to
nurses,
tourism
Indira
from
Gandhi
India?
Hospital.
You know, nobody is able to really quantify it and talk about that. But very quickly, any visible impact to tourism from India?
Well, I will be sending my dispatches today about how tourism sector has been affected. Speaking to some of the tourist operators, some who are heading associations over here, all of them are saying that in the immediate, if you see, there hasn't been much of a shift, but they have seen a lot of cancellations. Some of the politicians talking about the numbers going up to thousands and thousands. So, in the longer run, what they're looking at is, if this continues, if this diplomatic damage that has been done continues, there will be ramifications and repercussions on the ground over here, and there will be a massive, massive impact on Maldivian tourism.
Geeta Mohan reporting live from Maldives. Thanks very much, Geeta. Her dispatch you'll see at 8:30 p.m. this evening on the impact on what tourism has taken, the toll it has taken on Maldives tourism. Wait for that.